Okay, so before we start, I have a few housekeeping items. So I know you guys are all going to want an update schedule, and I'm not going to be able to give you one because each book takes a different amount of time to read. Usually it's about a week, but obviously it depends on the book and how busy I am that week. So there's that, and also a classmate informed me that I should have a catchphrase, and I'm not creative like that, so if you have any ideas, DM me on my Instagram page at Rachel's Reading. Okay, so the book that I'm doing is The Book of Three by Lloyd Alexander. So it's the first book of the Chronicles of Prydian series. So for general in the series, it's about a boy named Taron and his different adventures. So for the first book, he's just now coming from a small town in this kingdom, and he has to go find this pig that's super wise and speaks prophecies that it's run off. And the reason why it's run off is because there's a horned king, this evil dude, who's aligned himself with Armon, and who's trying to destroy this kingdom. So Taron doesn't yet know of this, and has to go out to the woods, and he sees the Horned King pass. So, as usual, he's like super freaked out and everything. But then he meets Gwendolyn, and he is the prince of this land. Well, one of the princes of this land. There's many. I don't know, that may be a different book. There's several princes, and I'm pretty sure he's decently down the line. And so they journey together to try and find this pig. Well, they think they know where it went, and on their way there, they get captured by Akron. So Akron is an evil witch lady who was one of the mentors of Armon. But then he betrayed her, and it was like this whole big thing, probably, and yeah. So she now has her own domain called the Spiral Castle. So, and another place that I forgot what it's called. And so she takes them there, and they're put in these dungeons, and there's tunnels that run all throughout the castle, like underneath and stuff. So this little girl, well, not little, she claims she's not little, probably isn't. I think she's around like 13-ish. Her name is Eleni, and so she guides Taran out of these dungeons, and she agrees to do the same for his friend. Well, she's never seen his friend, and Taran just assumes that he's in the next cell. Well, he's not. Akron has taken him somewhere else. So the person in the next cell is actually a bard who is the king of somewhere, but his name is Willander Flum. And so they both get out of the castle together, and as she's leaving, Elmony grabs this cursed sword. They needed some weapons, so they're all grabbing swords from this area, and she happened to grab one that's cursed. So it says, "Don't draw the blade from its sheath," because, that makes sense. And so they get out, and the castle completely collapses. So Taran, seeing that Gwendolyn is not with them, assumes that he was somewhere else in the castle, and he's dead now. So they're all mourning his death, and that. So they are going to go together to warn the royal family, the royal house of the Horned King, who's marching to them, so that they can protect the city and thus protect the kingdom. So on their way, they get lost, of course, and they also have some sort of minor battle. Can't remember what exactly happened, but basically this other person who's come along with them, his name is Gergie. He's kind of Bigfootish, but he's almost as intelligent as a human, but not quite. He's kind of in between the two, so it's a weird mixture. But so he's with them now, and he's injured really badly, and they all think he's gonna die. So they're going up these cliffs, and their horse is super nimble, so they let her go first and lead the way. So as she's leading the way, she leads them to this valley. So it's super peaceful, and there's a whole bunch of animals there. And basically, the guy who lives in the valley and kind of resides over all the animals, is able to help Gurgi and like heal him, and he also gives them a quicker path on the way to Cardathel, which is the town that the Horn King is trying to destroy. So they're on their way there, and it's supposed to be a shortcut so they can get there before the Horn King. But of course, they take a different shortcut from the shortcut, going across this lake. And, well, it's kind of the kingdom of the fair people, and they don't really like when trespassers come around. And so they kind of get captured again, but then Tauron's like, hey, sorry, you know, whatever, and somehow negotiates himself out of it. And he also gives them weapons and a guide, and Gurgi finds Hinwin, and they take her with them as well. So they're on their way now to Cardathel, but they've lost quite a bit of time. So they're just barely in front of the Horn King, like barely. And he's actually able to catch up with them at some point. So Gurgi, their guide, I think his name is Dolly, and Philander stay behind to fight the Horn King's army, while Elmony and Tauron go on to the town. Because they're both younger than the other three, so, you know, you always protect the youngest and the oldest. Well, senior citizens, oldest, not like the oldest of your company. And so they're on their way, and the three fought so valiantly, but they're still not able to stop the Horn King himself. So Tauron draws his sword, and he's, you know, fighting with him, but his sword, like, shatters. Like, completely shatters. So the only other weapon he has is Elmony's cursed sword. So he draws it, and in drawing it, it causes a bolt of lightning to strike him on the arm. So he's pretty much not going to be able to help anyone for a few days. It's certainly not for the rest of this battle. And so he's kind of like half unconscious, half conscious, you know. And what happens is, so Hinwin had run away before they met the Horn King. And she had told Gwendon, who is still alive, by the way, because Arkan had taken him somewhere else to torture him, and since he made it through the torturing, he, like, got super wise and stuff. So Hinwin tells him the true name of the Horn King. So by speaking the true name, you would, like, dissolve the person's essence. You would have, like, power over them. So he says the Horn King's true name to the Horn King, so be like dissolved into ash. So Tauron's like safe, Elmony's safe, everyone's all good. Tauron's, I think, the only person that got majorly wounded, and he woke up, you know, fine a few days later or something like that. And then he sees Gwendon, and he's like, what the heck happened? And Gwendon explains that Arkan took him somewhere else to be tortured. And yeah, so now Gwendon has the cursed sword now, because Elmony, who was like super avid about like carrying it herself, deemed that he was the one who was supposed to carry it. Like, he was, I don't want to say powerful, because I feel like that's not the right word, but like worthy maybe of carrying it, as it is cursed, and you know, I'm sure there's a way to get around the curse, and it probably has immense power, but it would take someone just as powerful to be able to wield something like that. So, yeah, and they all are able to return home, and Tauron goes home with Elmony, and she decides to stay there right as he's asking if she can stay there, and he goes to tell her, and she's already got a room ready. So, yeah, just a super sweet story. Tauron's a little immature at first, but I think between all the hardships that he had to go through in this book and Elmony being so mature herself, it really causes him to grow a lot throughout the book. And since this is more than one book series, he'll most likely grow even more throughout the series. And I think Tauron's around like 16, 17-ish. I'm pretty sure like Elmony's like 13, 14-ish. I know that Tauron's for sure I know that Tauron is older than Elmony, because he kept calling her little girl, and she would get super mad at him. So, you know, Charles' worldview was also very broadened because he doesn't really want to stay in the small town anymore. Before it was, I mean, yeah, he wanted a little bit more, but it wasn't like, he always pictured himself coming home and staying with his friends who he had been with for like ever. But after he comes back, he's just, you know, seems unsatisfied and like wants to go somewhere bigger and like do bigger things that are important, not just be the assistant pig keeper. So I'm thinking they're at least going to have like a deep friendship between Taran and Elwynnie, if not a more like relationship, like dating type thing. But I don't really know their ages, and Taran did call her little girl, so that age gap may be like kind of awkward and kind of weird if they started dating. So I'm really not sure about that one. But yeah, I think it was a really good book. I mean, I would definitely read the rest of the series. It's not like the last book I did where I like just stopped in the middle of it. That's very unusual for me, so I'm glad that I made it through this one. And I might do another video tomorrow, but we'll see. We've got some family get together going, and oh, it's Taco Sunday. It's Taco Tuesday, but on a Sunday. I'm so excited, and yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and keep looking on my Instagram for any important information that you guys might want to know. And yeah, if you have any friends who would be interested in this kind of stuff, share it with them. I'm always open to more people watching these. So yeah, bye.